course, Saturday night's main event just concluded, so I had to hop on and give you guys my point of view, my reaction to what just transpired here at the latest edition of Saturday night's main event. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. I see Muhammad in the chat. Shout out to Muhammad there. Hope you're doing well on a Saturday evening. A lot to talk about. I looked at the lineup for Saturday night's main event. Obviously, I gave my predictions as well. If you guys didn't check out that live stream, please do so. It is available in the archives as well. You can see where we stacked up in terms of our predictions, and I'd like to think we did pretty well. Obviously, the Zelina Vega matchup versus Chelsea Green was not announced, yet as of that live stream, but I'm pretty sure I would have gotten that one right as well. Still, we went 4 for 4 for the matches that were announced, and we'll start with the beginning here. The tag team match, a star-studded tag team match that saw Sami Zayn and CM Punk, two of the top baby faces in the company right now, join forces against the newly teamed up duo of Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker alongside Paul Heyman, the ex-wise man, if anything. And the question was, were they going to be able to successfully get a victory in their first outing as a tag team? Now, that statement in itself really applies to both teams. Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins, a newly formed tag team. Sami Zayn and CM Punk do have a history of teaming up together. Obviously, they were at the War Games matchup this past November. But when it came down to the matchup, it was always a matter of like who's taking the pin. And I couldn't see, Rollins or Breaker eating the pin there and taking a loss for their team. The one thing I did not see coming was the revelation, the reveal of a third member of this dangerous alliance between Rollins, Breaker, and Paul Heyman. That would come in the form of the Tsunami Man himself, Bronson Reed. Two Brawns together, I'm telling you. It was a great reveal. And I think also in terms of logic, because you guys know I'm very big into logic and making sure everything lines up, it makes sense. The last time we saw Bronson Reed was in War Games, where he suffered that injury during the matchup, where he was trying to deliver a tsunami from the top of the cage. However, CM Punk and Roman Reigns were kind of responsible for him getting injured. So the last time we saw Bronson Reed, it was attacking CM Punk. So to see him come back, make an attack on CM Punk, in terms of logic, it makes sense. The one complaint I think a lot of people are going to have, and I found myself asking the same question, was we literally just saw we just saw Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed having a heated rivalry not too long ago. Obviously, Seth Rollins had taken 6 tsunamis from Bronson Reed, and now we're led to believe that they're on the same page. Now, of course, they could easily sweep this under the rug and say something along the lines of Seth Rollins being like, hey, you gave me 6 tsunamis, you gave me one hell of a fight last year, and you earned my respect. And there's one thing that I recognize is that we need something like that for this alliance. They could easily chalk it up to that, especially because they're heels, so it comes a little bit more as disingenuous if it was a babyface saying that, but because it's a heel, you're kind of able to sweep it under the rug. But nonetheless, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker get a big victory over Sami Zayn and CM Punk. I think a well-needed victory as well, because Sami Zayn and CM Punk, they're going to be just fine. They're top baby faces. The crowd loves them. They're going to be just fine. But if Rollins and Breaker were to take that loss, it takes away the credibility of what they're trying to build here. If you look at any successful heel tandem, they have to develop and garner enough heat for us to actually have an investment in their downfall. If Rollins and Breaker were going to lose this matchup, immediately I'm led to believe, like, okay, they can't even win a match. Like that team isn't a real team. So I think it was the right call. It was an entertaining matchup, a high octane affair for the fans. It was the first matchup, and it got them going. It was a smart opener, I will say. Following that, though, I'm curious to see where it lines up. I think Paul Heyman and his group, they're not done with CM Punk. They're still going to be feuding. Will Sami Zayn be a part of it? Probably. Now it's just a matter of who's that third man, right? Could it possibly be Roman Reigns? Maybe. I find it hard to believe, though. I don't think we're going to see him for another couple of months, though. Maybe until SummerSlam or something along those lines. Shout out to Luis in the chat there. I see you. Appreciate you stopping by here. What did you guys think of Saturday night's main event? Make sure to comment down below in the chat. what your takeaways was from the Saturday night's main event, the third edition of the event since its return here in the modern era of WWE. The next matchup, though, would be the United States Championship. Zelina Vega, her first title defense in what, a month since she's won the championship. She would be defending it against Chelsea Green. The thing about this matchup is you could tell it was just thrown together. It wasn't originally listed for the event, but because of the outcrying pour of support for the women's division, I feel like this was WWE just acquiescing to the fans and giving them a women's matchup. It wasn't scheduled originally, as of 24 hours ago. It was just announced. And I feel like it was just thrown together, and you can see that. It was like a 5-minute matchup. The finish, which was a little botched, Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green put on a good showing the first time around, and I enjoy their program and their back and forth between one another. But this matchup to me had its moments. I did love the code red coming off of the top rope. I thought that was well done. But leading into it, the 619 that was botched by Zelina Vega. I can't hold it against her. It's not her actual move. It's Rey Mysterio's, obviously. And again, nobody's perfect, but a little bit clunky here and there during the matchup. Zelina Vega going over is the right call. She's very early into her title reign, 29 days to be exact. And again, if we have the title flip flop so often, it kind of demeans the championship itself. But again, not the best matchup, but by no means was it a terrible matchup. It was just thrown together, and I think it shows for sure. Who will be next? Zelina Vega, that'll be the question. We got Money in the Bank around the corner, so whenever we get that field figured out, I think we're going to start seeing a new contender reveal themselves for Zelina Vega. After that, John Cena. John Cena versus R-Truth. And this was a matchup I had some hope for because there was a story there. There was this sense of investment in R-Truth and his crusade of reintroducing, the light to John Cena, who's kind of fallen into the dark side. And R-Truth, if anybody's going to do it, it's R-Truth. But we all knew, there was no doubt that Cena was going to go over. As I see AJ in the chat, shout out to AJ. But I gotta be honest with you, the matchup was kind of disappointing. It was very quick. I wasn't expecting a 5-star classic by no means, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more back and forth between Truth and Cena. Truth was able to get some offense there, obviously using the 5 moves of doom by John Cena. And we even got a near fall there, so that was cool. That was nice. I liked the drama there. John Cena kind of hints and teases this kind of reluctancy to use the WWE title and bash R-Truth's head. Instead, he hands it back over to the referee and proceeds to deliver a Pat McAfee punt to the mid region of R-Truth. Cheats to get the victory. 1, 2, 3. John Cena wins. Nothing spectacular. I do think. I thought. I'll be honest with you. I think it might have been a waste of a matchup. The R-Truth and Cena, we knew Cena was going to win, but I just feel like we could have done a little bit more with it. I was hoping for a bit more of an internal struggle with Cena. We saw that at Backlash, and obviously at the end of the show, we kind of got a hint of where we're going next with Cena. So I understand if you're going to have this matchup somewhere, this was going to be the event. But unfortunately, it's going to be one of those matches we just forget about. I don't think people are going to come back to this R-Truth matchup, especially because of the finish of the show. That's going to be remembered way more. Way more. If you like the John Cena's 5 moves, this was the match. Yeah, I mean, it was half of the matchup because John Cena did 5 moves of doom. R-Truth did the 5 moves of doom. So it was basically that. He should have used Little Jimmy. If he would have used Little Jimmy. Honestly, can he be disqualified? Because you can't even see him. So the referee can't disqualify what he can't see. So maybe that was the downfall. Maybe R-Truth should have had the services of Little Jimmy there. Speaking of disqualifications, the next matchup, Minnesota Timberwolves are up 40 on the 4. I know, yes, Sir Robert. So before I went live, I did see that the Timberwolves are up big. So it looks like the Timberwolves are going to be taking Game 3 to make the series 2-1. Welcome to the series, Minnesota, even though It's a game three. So we got a series now, but I did see that. Shout out to Sir Robert keeping me updated. Little Jimmy Shield, terrible. The next matchup, though, would have no disqualifications as it was a steel cage match between Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest. A great matchup, I thought. Given the card and how condensed it was, a lot of these matches felt rushed, didn't really have enough time to settle in and cook. And then on top of that, the commercials kind of took away the momentum for me personally. I'm so used to watching Monday Night Raw without the ads, so it's like nonstop action. NXT is really good at pacing. SmackDown's a 3 hour show, so they have the pacing there. It just can be hit or miss with their storylines. Um, so the pacing of Saturday night's main event very rapid, very quick. I never really got to settle in a matchup until we got to the steel cage match. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest put on another great match. Drew McIntyre unfortunately takes the loss, but given the way it finished and having Damian Priest deliver the concerto, I think this is their way of writing him off for a little bit. I don't know for how long, but I think we're going to get a break here for Drew McIntyre, a well deserved break. Um, Damian Priest, we're going to see where he goes. Could he be in the Money in the Bank match? Maybe. You know, there's still a few openings for that matchup, but the steel cage match I thought was fine. I do think the one complaint maybe would have been Jesse Ventura's commentary. If you watch the show, you can tell that Jesse Ventura is very much a star from the past, and it shows, you know, his style of commentating. I love Jesse Ventura, one of my all time favorites. But he was getting so heated over the fact that Damian Priest escaped the cage through the door and not won the match, you know, in the middle of the ring, which is technically legal. If it was up to me, I think I would have had a definitive finish and have it, you know, end in the ring, especially because Damien's your babyface, and you want a definitive victory for Damien. Jesse criticized him in the sense that it was a coward's way out, which I don't know if that's what you want for Damian Priest. People are already on the fence about him, and for a second there, I was like, are they teasing a double turn because of how much Jesse was laying in to Damien? I don't think that's the case. I think we're still sticking with Damien as a babyface and Drew as a heel. But a very dangerous game there was Jesse Ventura just criticizing him. But then on the flip side, too, if you're familiar with Jesse Ventura, he's a heel commentator. Back in the 80s and 90s, he was on guys like Hulk Hogan. Like, he was always a detractor of theirs. So, like Bobby the Brain Heenan's another guy where they kind of weave the story a certain way to have the fans' perception be warped. So it isn't really out of character for Jesse Ventura. I just think in terms of the modern fan who are watching, it could have taken away from their viewers, you know, from their viewing experience, I should say. But I still like Jesse Ventura. He's a great commentator. AJ says, I need Cena versus Flair. No, absolutely not. No, we don't need that. Ric Flair, dude, way too old. Wrestled 10 years too late. I'm okay. I'm totally fine. Thank you very much. Hi friend, how was your Saturday? My plans for the long. Hey, right on, Sylvia. Great to see you. Appreciate you here being for the stream. I'm doing well. A good Saturday. We watched Saturday night's main event. A decent show. I will say though, it kind of felt a lot of filler, and I'll get to it when we get to the last matchup here. But I felt like this was a very skippable show because it was so focused on setting up Money in the Bank. You know, we got a lot of Money in the Bank to talk about. Looking forward to it, but it was a good show. As for our plans, tomorrow being Sunday, we're gonna go watch the new Lilo and Stitch movie. My family very big into movies. Obviously, you guys know I'm a movie fanatic. I'm a film buff, and then Lilo and Stitch was always a very important movie for us growing up as kids. So seeing the live action one certainly will be a treat. We're looking forward to it. A lot of good movies. Last week we saw Final Destination. Uh, Tomorrow we're gonna be watching Lilo and Stitch, and then the following week, Karate Kid, the new one comes out. So we'll be watching that. Our weekends are kind of booked, so a lot of good movies coming out. Hopefully you're doing well. For the long weekend, I don't have a long weekend. I'll be back working Monday, but it's cool. No worries. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you have plans. Make sure to share them in the chat too. What do you guys got planned? AJ says only good cage door moment is Mark Henry. First steel cage, man. Because I think of Kane too, but that was a Hell in a Cell, so different type of a cage. But yeah, uh, what what do you do with Damian Priest and Drew now? Well, I think Drew is going to be taking a hiatus. He's going to be taking a break and nursing some injuries. Um, you know how big I am in taking those breaks and allowing the fans to miss you and not overwork yourself, but also overwork your character because you don't want to be like a guy, with all due respect, you don't want to be like Chris Jericho, who stays extensive time, an extended amount of time, and it gets old and fans just want to see you leave, you know. So I think Drew takes a break. As for Damien, I don't know. I could definitely see him qualifying for the Money in the Bank match, given that he is a former winner, and they usually have a former winner involved. If not, look for him to be in the U.S. title picture with Jacob Fatu. I think that's definitely a matchup that they teased, especially during that Fatal 4-Way matchup at Backlash. So if I had to pick a spot, I'm thinking Jacob Fatu for the U.S. title. I'm playing WWE 2K25 Donkey Kong mod. I could never get into the mods. I know San Fran, my brother, um, he's very big into the mods and he's able to do his mods on his games, whether it's like the Resident Evil, GTA, even in WWE 2K25, the created wrestlers. I could never, man. But then again, like I'm not really a big gamer. We'll save that for his channel. After Drew taking a break, maybe who's the next to take a break the most? Who would be the next to take a break? I mean, Cody just took a break too, which is good for him. Seth. I don't think Seth would take a break. Sammy's not going to take a break. I don't see LA Knight taking a break. Gunther took a break. That's honestly a good question. You could say Jey Uso, but he's the world champion right now. Would he take a break? I don't think so. Because in terms of like the big stars, the big names, like who's left? Cena, he's already like on a part time. Cody took his break. Gunther took a little bit of a break. Jey Uso's the world champion, so I don't think it's going to be there just yet. But even with Logan Paul, I see AJ said Logan Paul. Even with Logan Paul, he kind of takes breaks every now and then. He's borderline part-time status because he'll show up. He'll have a promo, he'll have an interview segment in the ring. But in terms of matches, he's very selective about those dates. So he's already kind of on the fence for me. I think a guy who could be in line for a break, but probably won't be. I mean, look at LA Knight. LA Knight has been week in and week out on SmackDown, having matches, having promos, having segments. I think he might have only missed maybe 1 or 2 episodes of SmackDown this year. He is definitely in like a workhorse type of an era for his run in the WWE, and I'm all for it because I feel like this is his opportunity to already gain more momentum that he's already sustained throughout these last couple of years. I personally would love to see LA Knight win Money in the Bank. He's already qualified. I would love to see LA Knight win the Money in the Bank briefcase. I know a couple streams ago I had mentioned guys like Finn Balor and Dominic. I don't think that's the road we're going to be going. I think LA Knight for sure is a great choice. I feel like Carmelo Hayes could definitely qualify for the matchup. I know he has a matchup with Jacob Fatu and Andrade this upcoming SmackDown. I hope Melo makes it. I would love to see Melo be Money in the Bank. It'd be a great choice. Logan, would Will miss Money in the Bank maybe? Would Will? Or are you saying who would? But we're talking about Saturday night's main event. Great comments there. Love the conversation. But I would be a fool. Oh, who will? Who will miss Money in the Bank maybe? John's gonna be there. They've already confirmed it. Because I mean they do like the 5-match shows, right? I think Jey Uso. Because Jey Uso and Gunther are now in line for the Raw after Money in the Bank. So we know that Jey Uso and Gunther won't be at the show. Or they won't have a match. because maybe they're there. I doubt it, but we know they're not going to be there, and they're going to have their matchup on the following Raw. So they won't be there. Drew, I don't think is going to be there. Like I said, I think he's going to take some time off. Um, so yeah, those would be my big names there. I don't know what it is, but the WWE does not feel the same as it did a year ago. Sir Robert, I'm not going to disagree with you. There is something a little bit different. They had they're arriving a huge wave of momentum out of WrestleMania 40. Cody Rhodes winning the WWE Championship, finishing his story. It gives me chills thinking about it. What a great ending to WrestleMania 40. Since then, it doesn't feel the same. I'm still hyped about it, absolutely. I'll always be hyped about it because it's pro wrestling. But there is a little bit of a change. Um, I do want to talk about Saturday night's main event real quick, and it lines up with your comment there, Sir Robert. This show in itself didn't feel all that important. At the very end of the show, I was just left thinking this was just a vehicle to get us to the next show. It was a footnote, it was a bookmark, it wasn't a marquee event. 10 years from now, I don't think I'm going to talk about Saturday night's main event from May 24th, 2025, with the exception of maybe this was the day that CM Punk, or excuse me, that day that Cody Rhodes returned and set up the Money in the Bank matchup. It was very skippable. This was a show you could definitely just catch the highlights and read about what happened on Twitter. The PLEs don't really feel all that big. Sometimes there's like one match that you're really looking forward to. Look at Backlash, this last one. A decent show, but again, it was like a one match show. We only cared about Cena versus Randy. It all stems from WrestleMania 41, I think, because that ending left a lot of people flat with Cody versus John Cena. There was so much hype, and it didn't live up to it. Not to say that it was bad. It didn't live up to the hype, but it was really really hyped. Hopefully they find their footing and they're able to navigate around it. But I think it also coincides with the Bloodline. That Bloodline story ruled the world of WWE for 4 or 5 years. And now that Bloodline saga is pretty much in the rear view mirror, we're done with that version of it, at least for now. Um, it's a weird spot right now. I will also say the John Cena run so far has been kind of underwhelming. Um, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Obviously, I'm a straight shooter with you. I'm gonna tell you my honest opinions. John Cena's my guy. I'll always be a fan. But the matchups for me have been okay. The Cody matchup was fine. I don't think it was bad, but it wasn't great. The Randy matchup was better. I liked the Randy matchup for sure, even with all the chicanery that was involved with the ref bumps and R-Truth. But aside from that, it's just, to be fair, I know that right now his gimmick is supposed to be, oh, I'm going to ruin wrestling. Maybe it's by design, but at the same time, I would kind of like to have fun. I would kind of like to enjoy John Cena's last few matches, but the only matches I've really enjoyed of his, the Royal Rumble, but that's kind of a cop out because it's like 30 guys in the matchup anyway. Um, and then the Randy matchup. Aside from that, Cena's run has been okay, and I'm hoping they kind of again find their footing and deliver a solid conclusion to what has been trying to fix my chair. What has been an okay run with the WWE title. Saturday night's main event could have been a good call back to previous ones in 07. And I think it's just like not going to stick now. I think it is going to stick for a little bit, maybe for, until 2026. I think it's going to stick for sure, just because NBC and Peacock and their partnership. Plus, the WWE is on fire in terms of its viewership and its attendance. So I think it's going to stick in terms of it's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be a success. It'll be fine. We'll get some good matches here and there, but I think in the grand scheme of things, there's not going to be marquee matches that we're going to remember for years to come. What do you think of Saturday night's main event tonight? I thought it was okay. My favorite matchup, probably the main event. Logan Paul versus Jey Uso. I like the steel cage match. That was good. And the tag team match was fine as well. But again, those commercials kind of took me out of it. The main event I thought was the most fun I had. Jey Uso versus Logan Paul. It was very much a back and forth of a babyface versus a heel, and it helps when the crowd is into it, cheering Jey Uso, booing Logan Paul. We got a little bit of interference from John Cena and a returning Cody Rhodes. So I like my wrestling a little bit chaotic. So I thought for me that was what it was worth. Jey Uso gets the victory, retains the title just like we predicted in the live stream. But we also have a matchup set up for Money in the Bank. Logan Paul and John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso. I'm all for it. I think it should be a stellar matchup. Logan Paul can go in the ring. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, sign me up. John Cena, come on, you gotta step up, buddy. You gotta step up. The Randy match was fun. This Cody match was okay. This R-Truth match, I thought it was a waste, to tell you the truth. The R-Truth match, like I said, I wasn't expecting a 5-star classic, but I would have preferred a little bit more of a struggle. And maybe that was due to time constraints, because like I said, that's the Lena Vega match versus Chelsea Green. I don't think that was originally intended to be on the card. I think that was a last second addition. And so that took away easily 10 minutes from the broadcast because you're talking entrances, and I believe it was like a 5-minute matchup. So it does disrupt the flow of the show. Um, but overall, Saturday night's main event, it was okay. I'd probably give it like a C plus. I don't want to be too biased. Everyone knows here on the channel we talk primarily WWE, and I know there's probably people there who um, maybe have their criticisms and say we talk about WWE too much and not much of AEW or TNA. But again, I talk about what you guys want to talk about, and the conversation has usually been centered around WWE. And if you guys want to talk about other stuff, hey, more than welcome to do that. But I don't want people to think that I'm like tribalistic and I just like WWE. It's like I can criticize them too. I'm a fan of pro wrestling. So whether it's AEW, TNA, WWE, if there's something I don't like, I'm going to make sure to let you guys know. Finger poke of doom would ruin it. Man, the finger poke of doom needs to stay in 1999. For those who are unaware or are too young to remember, the finger poke of doom was a matchup between Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash for the WCW Championship. It was the main event of a episode of Nitro, and the two got in the ring. Hulk Hogan gives a good old little finger poke on the chest of Kevin Nash, who takes it as if it was a bullet to the chest and is pinned in the middle of the ring. It was a farce. It was a sham. It was WCW in the late 90s and early 2000s. CM Punk should have not been taken out. Help me out there. CM Punk and the Bronson Reed. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. It's going to be a great run for Bronson Reed too, to be in the ring with someone like CM Punk. That's a big rub. You know, we saw what he could do with Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. So him and CM Punk, I'm very much into. Who wants to see that tag team match? Is Tony Khan booking this? You know, I kind of do want to see it. You know, Jay and Cody, they are former tag team champions. I think the only complaint is for people who are against Logan Paul still, but given his character and given his work and how John Cena is right now, the pairing makes sense. Again, from a story perspective, it makes sense logically. But in ring, chemistry wise, does it work? I don't know if Cena and Logan Paul are going to work as a team in terms of, their wrestling styles, especially this version of John Cena, because this John Cena is hell bent on not giving us a decent match. Did you like the Ricardo Rodriguez versus Roman Reigns? It caught me off guard. I did not expect it to be that, and it was an FCW matchup, so I did not expect it to be that much of a surprise. Yeah, Alberto Del Rio's manager. Yeah, AJ tried so hard to get me to watch that matchup, and it took a minute, but I did eventually get to it, and I was not disappointed. It took me time. It took me a minute there, but we got to it. We got to it finally. So at the end, Cody Rhodes makes his return, and what would it have been? A little bit over a month exactly, because it was April 20th, the last time we saw Cody Rhodes, WrestleMania 41. It's now May 23rd, a little bit over a month later, and Cody makes his huge return, and we're now setting up the matchup between he and Jay, former tag team champions, like I talked about, versus Logan Paul and John Cena, Team Hollywood, essentially. And now that that is in the rearview mirror, we also have NXT Battleground coming up. There's also the Double or Nothing show coming up as well. Usually we go live for those. I did mention that tomorrow I will be watching Lilo and Stitch with the family, so there might don't think there's going to be a live. If there will be, it'll probably be a surprise one, especially because I have to catch up on it. There's been a lot of wrestling content. Obviously, you guys know. The Wolves, I got a notification, the Wolves just crushed OKC by 42. Good lord. They never had a shot today. They never had a shot. Good for the Wolves, though, finally making it a series. Yes, Mohammed, and also, did you see my long string of comments on your Money in the Bank short? Kind of a fan theory. I do remember seeing a comment on one of them, but I haven't. I know I didn't respond. Oh, is it the Edge one? The Edge winning the Money in the Bank? It's pretty painful. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's very out there, and I know it's just having fun, with the theories, but I'm very much into like. I was reading the comments. Yeah, about the Edge winning Money in the Bank. I do think as of right now, LA Knight's very close. I think LA Knight could win it. This will be his third Money in the Bank matchup. If he doesn't win this one, that's going to be tragic. I would love to see LA Knight as the winner. Cody is still a face. That looks like an idiot. You didn't hit him with the belt. I promise you, Cody will be booed. If Cena keeps acting the way he is, I think he'll be fine. I think Cody will be fine. I think Cody will be fine. And I don't know, Sir Robert. I think it can go both ways. In that moment, yeah, maybe the average person would have hit him with the belt. But given Cody's character right now, I can totally understand why he didn't use the belt. He didn't want to stoop to that level. He didn't want to, beat him by cheating, because then you could easily, if I'm Cena, I could easily throw it back in his face and be like, "Well, you cheated to beat me. You couldn't beat me straight up. You say you're quarterback number one. You say you're the face of this place, but you had to cheat to beat the greatest of all time." So it could go either way. It could go either way. But will he be booed? I think, yeah, there's still going to be a percentage of the audience that's going to boo Cody and support Cena. Of course it's going to happen. But I don't think it's going to be as drastic as it was at WrestleMania. If WrestleMania was like 80-20, I'm thinking it's going to be like 60-40. 60 being Cena, 40 being Cody. LA Knight could be cashing it in on the WWE Championship. He could. Maybe the World Championship. Maybe he jumps over to Raw. Don't know. But I think that's also an important thing to recognize, is like, who's the champion? Because a lot of times I feel like whoever's getting cashed in on, there is already a history built in. Not always the case. Not always the case. But I think it certainly does help. I feel like it's not a John Cena last run until on this day we see clearly. Yeah, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Edge, better known as Adam Copeland in AEW, he's contracted with them, so that's just the one thing that's going to be missing. At the end of the day, we're going to say that the John Cena retirement tour missed one of his biggest rivals, and that's Edge. Muhammad agrees with me. LA Knight, yeah. We also uploaded a new video. I believe it was this morning. Yeah, I'm losing track of my days here. Naming every Money in the Bank competitor since 2005. Since its inception, there have been over 230 names, 230 individuals being involved in a Money in the Bank ladder match. So if you guys want to see how we did in terms of naming everybody, make sure you check the video. It's already up, it's loaded, it's on the main page, it's on the community post. You can check that out. LA Knight, yeah. I think when LA Knight turns heel, LA Knight, nah. Imagine. LA Knight is a heel saying nah. Because he doesn't say nah, he says nah, nah. What's the new shirt? I gotta get my J Area shirt. The shirt I'm currently wearing is the Cody Rhodes t-shirt. You know, had it on for the return. I do have my J Area wrestling shirt. Obviously, I'm not wearing it right now, but I have it in the closet. Maybe I'll wear it for another stream. Those shirts are available. The link is in the description for those of you who want a piece of the J Area merch. It's also available at jareawrestling.myspreadshop.com. Or to make it easier, again, link is in the description for the merch or in the description of the channel itself. It's super comfortable. I have my own. I have a hat as well. Again, obviously, I'm not wearing them, but good material. And if you want to support the channel and rep the J Area, it's a great way to do it. But yeah, we do have that video up already, naming every Money in the Bank competitor. Sometime next week, I'm going to have another video. It's already recorded. I just have to finish editing it. But I like doing those what if scenarios, and the next video is going to be what if the winner of every Money in the Bank ladder match had cashed in on a different champion. So the first example I can give you is Edge. When he had won in 2006 or 2005, he cashed in 2006. He cashed in on John Cena. What if he had cashed in on the world champion instead? And we go through every possible scenario for every Money in the Bank winner. Cody and Cena double turn? I don't think so. If I'm the WWE, I'm not turning Cody heel yet. Maybe down the road, but right now, Cody is the top babyface. He's helping with the audience attendance, the merchandise. He is who the WWE would hope to be, the face of the franchise. Does the interviews, smiles, hugs the kids, talks to the families. That's the guy you want as the focal point of your company. You need a representative. You need an ambassador going on the Today Show, on the Tonight Show, ESPN, running the red carpets. That's Cody. I don't think they hit that double turn. No. And like I said, I don't think they turn him heel at least for another 2 years, at least. And that's if they turn him heel. What are your thoughts on Undertaker winning Money in the Bank back in the day? I honestly would have been against it, AJ. I would have been against it because ever since I was a kid, I've always had this sense of it needs to make sense to me. And Taker, he's a guy that doesn't need it. He won the Royal Rumble, fine. But as for the Money in the Bank, he doesn't need it. This is a guy who would get a championship opportunity if he just walked down the hallway and gave you a certain look from his eyes. Doesn't need Money in the Bank. Kane won it, and that's one thing, but he's respectfully not on the level of The Undertaker. So, no. It's like a guy like Brock Lesnar or John Cena. I didn't think they needed Money in the Bank. John Cena didn't need Money in the Bank. Lesnar didn't need Money in the Bank. There's other guys. I think Money in the Bank should be used for either A, young talent trying to get over and get them to that next level, or B, to an already established star who is looking to take that next step. Look at Damian Priest. Damian Priest isn't a young gun. He's an experienced vet, but it got him to the next level. Just like how it got guys like Edge and Dolph Ziggler to the next level. He's a guy that would go up to creative and said, I want one. I disagree. You know, a lot of the interviews show The Undertaker was kind of a soldier. He listened to orders. He did what the company needed. And Undertaker wasn't going to be the guy. And again, I don't know him personally, but seeing the interviews, he's always presented himself as the guy where it's like, I'm going to do what's right for the company. You need me to do this? Okay, fine, consider it done. You think he wanted to fight Giant Gonzalez at WrestleMania 9 or the Great Khali in 2006? If The Undertaker used his pull, I think he would have vetoed it and been like, no, I don't want to work with those guys. But he's a company guy. He's going to do what's asked of him, and he's going to do it to the best of his ability. So, and again, if I'm The Undertaker, what, and if we want to talk about the argument of like, oh, he's a guy that would go up to creative and say, I want one. If I'm The Undertaker, I'm just going to say, hey, I want to fight for the world title. Why go through the extra step of getting Money in the Bank? Just win the world title, you know? It's just taking an unnecessary extra step. And I guess you can make, again, I like to have like the counter argument and play devil's advocate and cover all the different ends. You could make the argument that for a guy like John Cena, in order to get him to point A to point B, he needs to earn that championship, and Money in the Bank was the best way. I still think a guy like Cena and The Undertaker, they don't need to really. Obviously, they need to earn it, but for fans, if someone told me, hey, The Undertaker is going to get a championship match next week, I'm not going to argue because I'm like, oh, yeah, it's The Undertaker. Yeah, makes sense. Like, hey, John Cena's going to get a championship opportunity. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, what's a mountain rushing? A mountain rushing more? Oh, I think you mean Mount Rushmore of workhorses. I think that's why he winked and Cody during WrestleMania 40. Yeah. Well, even then, I think the wink to Undertaker would never climb a ladder. He did win a ladder match, though. He did win a ladder match, but he was a little younger. I think the wink to a WrestleMania 40 was just a part of the mystique, knowing that he would like disappear in the night. But I think it's just the Undertaker kind of giving his like respect to Cody. You know, kind of like that subtle nod, that subtle wink of like, hey, watch this. You know, love it. It just says sorry. It's all good. It took me a second. It took me a second. These the autocorrect's crazy. But yeah, I think you said my Mount Rushmore of workhorses. I mean, it depends on your definition of a workhorse. For me, that's talking about in ring work rate, and for me, workhorses. I'm looking at Bret Hart. I'm looking at Daniel Bryan / Bryan Danielson, um, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero. Like those are the first ones that come to my mind for workhorses. Those are guys who you could throw Benoit in there. You know, there's a lot of great wrestlers out there who had a great work rate. Sir Robert says, has Hulk Hogan ruined his legacy? I think so. Yeah. I think if you were to take the character of Hulk Hogan, just the on TV presence, not Terry Bollea the man, but Hulk Hogan the character, he was a made man. You know, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, the red and yellow, even betraying the audience and going to the NWO, but then re-embracing the audience in 2002, and then donning the red and yellow again, made man. But because of who he is and because of the situations he's placed himself in, not only has he made questionable decisions, but at this point, he comes off as a hypocrite to me personally. Now, I know that the character and the man should be separate, but when you're still on TV, you're still doing these interviews and you're trying to sweep things under the rug and not act like things have been done in the past and not take accountability for your actions, it does come off a little bit hypocritical for me. He is a human being at the end of the day, but that's why I choose not to send my energy that way towards Hogan. I've never been a Hogan guy. You guys already know that, and I feel like a broken record when I say it because I'm not. And it's not even a personal thing. It has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with his, again, the situations he's been in the past. It's really been more of his character as a in-ring performer and character as a man. I'm just not a fan. If you're a fan of his work, by all means, please, like that's perfect. It's part of the world that we live in and the wrestling business that I love because I acknowledge the impact that he has had on the business. You cannot deny that Hulk Hogan has had a great impact as to where wrestling has gone from where it was to now. You cannot deny that Hulk Hogan was a key part of that build. But with that being said, I'm not a fan. Mount Rushmore's of faces of the company: Hulk, Taker, John, and Cody. I don't think Taker was ever the face of the company, though. For me personally, Taker's not a face. I would probably switch. I would keep Hulk as okay for my faces of the company. Hulk, Austin, Cena. Those are locks. Absolutely. Absolutely. Not taking those off. Um, and the last spot I think would go down to either Rock or Roman. I don't think I could put Cody there yet, but Roman was a big part of the boom in wrestling these last couple of years. For me, though, in terms of the face of the company, Hogan, Rock, Austin, Cena. That's what I'm going to go with. Can you watch a Benoit match? I'm not being critical either way. I'm not being critical. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I can watch a Benoit match. I can, yeah, again, knowing what he did, it does. And it's the same thing with Hogan. I can watch a Hogan match. But it's like you do watch these matches, and in the back of your mind, you know what happened in real life, and it does influence um, your viewing experience. And it's weird, and it's not just Hogan, right? I watch Hogan's match, and I do get these feelings of like, oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that. I don't like this, I don't like that. Same thing with Benoit. I'll watch a Benoit match, and I'll get lost in the matchup, and I remember, oh, it's a great matchup. Oh, him versus Angle. But then you're constantly reminded of like how everything ended and why they have erased Benoit. And I think it's for a valid reason. For a valid reason. People always say maybe you should separate the man from the character. And you can, but at the end of the day, it's like it still happened. People want to say like, hey, Benoit should be in the Hall of Fame. I've had people comment that Benoit should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't see a world where that's going to happen. I really don't. And I think it's for the best that it doesn't, because you're then promoting Benoit 20 years later. And how were you going to ignore what happened? Whether it was CTE or not, I think it was CTE, but it still happened. And I think it's probably just the safer route just to cut him from history. And it's a shame, but it's what it is. Do you think WrestleMania 20 will be the first break if they ever start to talk about Benoit again? I honestly don't think they ever will. We've gone this long without it. I don't think they ever will. If they do, it'll either be the WrestleMania 20 ending or the fact that Randy Orton beat Chris Benoit for his first world title. Because if you go and watch any highlight reel, any video package that's about Randy, they either do not show his first ever world title win, or if they do, it's just him holding the championship, and we never see who he pins. We never see who he beats. So if they were, I don't think they ever will, but if they were going to mention him again, I think it's WrestleMania 20, the ending, or the Randy Orton match at SummerSlam. So, and I appreciate the comment, by the way, Robert. Robert says I'm not being critical either way. This is all in good fun, and it's all in the spirit of conversation. I welcome your guys' takes, and I want this place to be a space of comfort and safety for everybody, that you guys can come out and talk about whatever you want to talk about. My takes are not always right, and I don't expect everybody else to agree with them, but I do appreciate the contrasting opinions of other people. If we all agreed on the same thing, it would be a very boring world. So it's refreshing to have people have different takes and opinions on things. Zillow, yeah, it's been a minute, Zillow. I remember you on the streams. It's been a minute. Welcome back. Of course I remember. I try to remember everybody, and that's why when I see your guys' names pop up on the screen, I try to read out the username, because it's easier for me to retain that, of course. Again, here we're on a Saturday evening reaction to Saturday night's main event. Overall, a decent show. I'm not gonna hype it up as much. I gave it like a C. It was fine, but I do think it was probably forgettable in the long run. I do think that the main event, Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, is probably going to be the match that everyone talks about coming out of it. Like if we were to go 10 years from now, but other than that, it was a blink and you miss it type of a show. We do have Battleground and Double or Nothing coming up tomorrow. I'll probably have to hold a stream another day because I will not be able to tomorrow. If I do, it might be like a last second surprise stream, but I don't want to get your guys' hopes up, truthfully. Which is why we went live today. It's been a minute. I'm thinking about just doing more lives following shows. So, like, whether it's a Monday Night Raw reaction, NXT, Dynamite, I'm kind of messing with the scheduling of the live streams. Traditionally, we've been doing Sundays and Thursdays. With my work schedule kind of being all over the place, it kind of throws a wrench in those plans. But whenever I watch these shows live, I think it'd be really cool to have like a reaction show and then just talk about what had happened. And for people who missed the show, it'd be an opportunity for them to kind of get the highlights and get the reaction to those as well. Grizzy, what's going on? Grizzy was on our live stream yesterday, so I'm glad to see them here again. It says, Sub J, just stopping by to drop a like and support. Just got home from work, so no spoilers. I'm going to watch now. Peace. Appreciate that, Grizzy. Enjoy the show. Do you think Saturday night's main event could have been better if there was a title change? No, I don't think it would have made a difference. And also because I don't think the titles should have changed. I think both titles should have been retained. So, Reservoir Dogs or Pulp Fiction? Pulp Fiction, 100%. Nothing against Reservoir Dogs. I enjoy Reservoir Dogs, but Pulp Fiction, I like the story structure. I very much enjoy the characters more. You know, Jules and Vincent, Mia, Marcellus Wallace, Butch. Like I very much love Pulp Fiction. In fact, just because you brought it up, if I can find it, it's back here. That's the wrong one. I got the Steelbook of Pulp Fiction. One of my all-time favorite movies. I think it's Quentin Tarantino's best work. I appreciate that question, though, Sir Robert. I love talking about movies as well. We are primarily a pro wrestling channel, but again, for people who have been with us since the beginning, we talked about film early on in the channel's inception. So, love the question and thank you. Did you see the episode of Stephanie's Places with the whole bloodline? I have not, Zillow. I don't have. I think it's on ESPN Plus, is it not? I don't have ESPN Plus, so I have not seen it. I am just leaving it running for your watch hours, but won't be tuned in. 4 letters, 1 word. I appreciate that, Grizzy. Thank you so much for the support. And even then, after the show, check it out and see what we're talking about. That way you're kept in the loop, man. But I do appreciate it. Thank you. Matrix or The Truman Show? Oh, man. 2 different movies, but both with kind of meta type of themes. Truman Show is good. I appreciate the Truman Show. I'm a fan of Jim Carrey. But I'm going to go Matrix. Just because of the visuals. Keanu Reeves is fantastic in it. I love his on-screen chemistry with Lawrence Fishburne, aka Morpheus. That's another one, actually. Since you brought it up, if I can find it. Also, got on Blu-ray. I'd have to go with The Matrix, though. But again, I want to give The Truman Show its flowers. I do enjoy that movie. But I gotta go Matrix. Specifically the first one, if that's the question we're going with. Because the other ones, Reloaded and Revelations, and the fourth one, you know, I'll always like the first one more. El Grande Americano is actually making me like Chad Gable more. I remember how boring he used to be. You know what's funny too is his career has very much lined up with Kurt Angle because they kind of had these vanilla type of characters at first, but once they started getting the opportunity to present their personalities, they really stood out for the audience. They're both very comedic, fantastic in the ring, and can play really good heels as well. So the El Grande Americano gimmick is growing on me as well. I'm looking forward to the matchup between Chad Gable and El Hijo del Vikingo. That's going to be very good. I can't wait for that at Worlds Collide. But I'm a fan of Gable. Royal Rumble 06 or Royal Rumble 2002? Ooh, okay. That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm going to take it as the matchup itself. I want to say that's what we're going with, is the matchup itself. I'm probably going to go with 2006. 2006, but it's close. I think 2002 had better participants. I think it had better better guys in the match. But the story of Rey Mysterio going coast to coast, winning from number 2 and doing it for Eddie, the ending itself, and because I'm biased, it was around the time I grew up watching it. 2002, I was like 3 years old, and I don't have that memory retained. But in 06, I can remember it vividly. So I'll go 06 for sentimental reasons. What is your favorite crowd pop? Wow, so many. So many, but there's one that comes to mind. I mean, it's a two-parter, technically. Because it can go 1A and 1B. When CM Punk made his return at AEW, he made his return to wrestling, his debut in AEW. That pop, and then his return at Survivor Series 2023. Both CM Punk moments. I've always been a big CM Punk guy. He was a critical and a crucial figure for me as a teenager growing up. So seeing him return not only to pro wrestling but as well as the WWE, those two pops were huge for me. I would drop your guys' in the chat though. I want to hear from you guys. What were some of your favorite pops? 2006, I was hype. Yeah, it's a good one. Mine would have to be Ziggler cashing in. That was a good one too. Yeah. I think my favorite crowd pop moment is Brock Lesnar's return. It's another great one. There's just so many, right? Those were the first two that came to mind for me. CM Punk return for you and Michael Cole hype. Yeah. The CM Punk return meant a lot too. Because it was something I had given up. Because my brother and I, we would talk about it, like, hey, do you think Punk's gonna ever come back? And it got to the point where I'm like, I'll believe when I see it. I'd given up. I was like, if he wanted to come back, he would have came back. And I still remember seeing it on Rampage when he made that return, and just getting chills from the audience and the tears from the fans. There was fans crying, and then I was getting a little bit choked up as well because it was like, that's my guy. And to see him come back, it was just an awesome moment. Other moments, though, for a crowd pop, Cena returning at the Rumble in 2008, because I saw that one live on pay-per-view, when that happened. So that was a big one, too. That was a good pop. Those are the ones that come to mind. The CM Punk one for sure, that was number one. I think Edge just needs to break his contract and do something no one has ever done. He's a professional, though. He's not going to do that. He's a professional. He's going to wait out his contract, and eventually I think he will return to the WWE, just because there's always that talk about, like, oh, I'm home, WWE, I'm home. It's always that. So he will return one day, but he's not going to break this contract. I don't think so. I would love to see him in the ring with Cena one last time, but unfortunately, because of timing, that is something we will not see happen. I wanted our truth to hate John after the matchup. Yeah, but you know our truth, man. He's such a lovable guy. He was such a lovable guy. Got the best of him. Shout out to Grizzy though. I don't want to be the spoiler, but it's like it's a reaction show. You guys looking forward to Battleground and Double or Nothing? Let me know what you guys are excited for in terms of those pay-per-views. Some matches that you're looking forward to. John Cena post show, he just ate little Jimmy. A little callback to when he gave the attitude adjustment to our truth, and I missed it, so I threw it on the live stream to catch up with it. They should have had little Jimmy interfere, because our truth would not have gotten disqualified. You can't disqualify what you can't see. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the retirement tour so far? How would you grade John Cena's run so far from the Royal Rumble to today? I'll throw it up as a poll as well, because I wanna see people's their takes on that. SummerSlam, Cena versus Punk. I think it's very much a possibility. That's a big money matchup too. Actually, I'm gonna do. How would you grade Saturday night's main event? And then we'll probably do the John Cena run another day, just because I want to get people's reaction from tonight's show. And it's like, I don't want to give it an F. I don't think it was worthy of an F. It's, you know how bad of a show you would have to be to get voted as an F. We need Sheamus to get that IC championship, damn it. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. We got to get Sheamus that title. He doesn't need it. He's a made man. He's in the Hall of Fame. But damn, it would be nice to see Sheamus win that IC title. AJ says D plus after Saturday night's main event. B minus before. Dang. So you already had kind of mixed emotions about it. My anticipation for it, yeah, I think would have been a B. You know, leading into the show. Because the matches I was looking forward to, the tag match, the Jey Uso match, and honestly, I was looking forward to all of them. But I knew that they weren't all going to deliver, you know, classic matches. It's just, that's not how it works. And it just is a D plus. We dropped a poll on the membership, not the membership, on the community tab. Make sure you guys voice your guys' opinion there. We have Double or Nothing and Battleground coming out tomorrow. So we'll see how those go. I gotta choose how I'm gonna do it, how I'm gonna watch, which I'm gonna watch first. I like how Jay is just giving out matches anytime. I don't get why people hate him either. I don't know why either. I'm a fan of Jay, like his charisma, I like his in-ring work. I'm a fan. I don't get where the hate comes from. Sheamus versus Cena, a lot of white skin. For real, no. And then Cena, correct me if I'm wrong, did Cena ever get a tan during his main run? I don't remember Cena looking that pale. Like, he looks like a bottle of milk lately. He looked pale. Him versus Sheamus, man, they're gonna have to turn off the house lights. You know, turn off the lights because it's too much brightness, you know? Looking like a fresh pair of teeth with Colgate. That's how shiny it looks like. Mama Ramos says hi. What's going on? Appreciate you, Mama Ramos, for stopping by. He had skin cancer. Yeah, but even then, because I know he had, or does he still have it? Or because I know he was diagnosed with it not too long ago because he had the They said that there was some kind of marks on his body that you can tell. I will say though, if you guys noticed, he oh my bad, didn't know. Um, his hair is coming back. John Cena talked about getting a hair transplant. It looks like it's coming back. Like it looked pretty good today. I'm not gonna lie. That's coming from a bald dude. His hair looked good. Looking like Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 25. Oh, that's funny. I got you, AJ. When he came down with all the white, that's funny. A lot. I still can't get over a lot of white skin. That's funny. I wonder. Do you guys think Cena's gonna turn babyface before the end of his run? I think he is. But when do you guys think? Cena was awesome on the bear. Was Cena on the bear? I know you put the quotation. Hey, you got to help me out because sometimes when I'm reading the chat, it's hard to tell if it's a joke or not. Was Cena on the bear? Or is that a joke? Because I've only seen like the first two seasons of the bear. He wasn't on the bear. This is probably a joke. He was? Was he actually? I only saw the first two seasons. Maybe I should watch the next one. Because they just finished up the third, and I think they're confirmed for a fourth, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm a fan of Jeremy Allen White. Another one, Jeremy Allen White, who was the star of Iron Claw. Shout out to the Von Erichs. Jey Uso versus Bad Bunny would go wild. I don't know if I want that one. I don't know about that one. I like Bad Bunny, I like Jey Uso, but I don't know about that one. I would rather see like Jey Uso and Bad Bunny versus Travis Scott and John Cena. I think that one would make more sense. I think Pat McAfee needs to put the punt kick into his arsenal. It would make him a lot more deadlier during any match. He did do it a couple of times, I think, in NXT and maybe against Austin Theory at WrestleMania. But I do agree, if he would add that as a regular move to his arsenal, yeah, it would make sense. This guy was an all time punter in the NFL, one of the best punters to do it. You would think he would add that to his arsenal. I'm 100% with you, AJ. I agree. I'm reading that when Cody returns, he will turn heel. He's not going to return heel, John. Nah. I find it very hard to believe that Cody turns heel anytime soon. I don't think it happens. Penta is a WrestleMania main event. Trust me. Penta, man, he has it. You know, he has it. He has the connection with the crowd already. Great in the ring, has passion in the promos. I cannot wait to see Penta rise up the ranks. Is he going to win the world championship? Probably not. But to be featured alongside the main guys and have matches against top guys would be fantastic. I also think him and Ray Phoenix, whenever they team up, that's going to be big money. And speaking of teaming up, the SmackDown tag team division right now, we didn't even talk about it. The Wyatt Six return. So the Wyatt Six, the Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, the Street Profits, Fraxium, like the SmackDown tag team roster is freaking loaded, man. I love it. It brings me back to the old SmackDown 6 days. The tag team roster, SmackDown, ridiculous. Ridiculous. I think Dusty Rhodes wouldn't like it. Well, Dusty Rhodes is a businessman. I feel like if the money's right and if the story's right, I think he'd be fine with it. Please, I promise you, Cena was in The Bear and is one of the funniest characters I've ever seen. I gotta check it out, Robert. I gotta check it out. Love the Bray Wyatt birthday celebration. Yeah, that was such a touching moment, you know, to see the Wyatt Six come out. And obviously they have the lantern that they blow out, but this time it's a birthday cake for Bray Wyatt, who would have celebrated his birthday yesterday. And then Uncle Howdy, also known as Bo Dallas, saying what is it? My life is for you. This life is for you. Something along those lines. Um, for Bray, it's like chills. I just wish they would have something in store for the Wyatt Six. I am a big supporter of every one of them. Nikki, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, Dexter Loomis, especially Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy. I want them to succeed so badly. I love the look of the gimmick. I love the characters. I want them to work and just be featured in a prominent role. And we haven't gotten there with them yet. I don't want to give up on them, but oh god, I just hope they have something in store for them. The crowd was ass, not gonna lie. Yeah, there's most of these crowds are. Let's be real. Most of these crowds are. Some of them are good, but most of them are bad. Have you seen the 2K25 new SmackDown vs. Raw skins for Roman and Asuka? I have not. I have not. All pixelated. I have not. I told you, man. Sanfran, he's the gamer, man. I haven't hopped up on 2K in such a while. The only games I really play are WWE 2K, NBA 2K, Madden, NCAA football. I don't really play that much, you know. Uh, KSI and Teshi versus the New Day. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. As long as the New Day go over. LOL. We'll go live for maybe another 10 minutes here, guys. I'll give you guys that heads up when we're going to get ready to close up shop. It's been a great conversation with you guys. As always, I look forward to these live streams, especially at the conclusion of a show, because it kind of gives us an opportunity to discuss what just happened, what we're feeling about it, what we're feeling about the next step in the direction of these characters or the storylines. So I think these live streams are very much just going to be uh, predominantly reactions to the shows. You watching NXT or AEW tomorrow? I'll be watching both. Obviously, I can't watch them at the same time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll probably watch NXT first because I feel like it'll be a shorter show, and then I'll catch AEW probably Monday because tomorrow we're gonna be out. We're gonna be watching the new Lilo and Stitch. Looking forward to it, and I'll come home probably watch NXT, and then I gotta work my Monday morning shift. So Monday afternoon watched Double or Nothing, and then leaving the Monday Night Raw. So. Hey, I see you retracted that statement. I couldn't see it in time. I feel like a good AEW show could put them on top right now. And the thing is, AJ, a lot of their pay per views are solid. They have good matches. They have good matches. AEW will be 12 hours long, but their matches are super long, I will say. I skipped the pre show. So that'll shave off at least an hour and a half, I think. Maybe 90 minutes to 2 hours will be shaved off because I don't watch the pre shows. I just catch the highlights on Twitter. But yeah, they have long shows, and Double or Nothing will be emanating from where is it, Glendale, Arizona. So a little bit of a hometown feel for us over here. We debated about going, but ultimately decided not to. We're gonna save up money so we can go see the Niners play this year, obviously, yeah, as well as the Warriors when they come to town. So we'll be saving that. I was pissed that they didn't give Rusev his theme and gimmick back. My bad, the grammar. Don't worry about it, Zillow. I got you. I'm with you, though. I was upset that we just didn't have Rusev's old theme. It was a good theme. It fit him. It's recognizable. I don't know why. As for gimmick, I'm fine. The theme song, like, come on. It was a good theme song, but all these damn Def Rebel songs were trash. A good Adam Cope match I need. Well, Adam Cope might make his return. I have a feeling FTR is going to beat Nigel McGuinness and Danny Garcia, and then at the end of the matchup, that's when Adam Copeland makes a return. But again, if you guys want more of an in-depth prediction for Double or Nothing, make sure you guys check out yesterday's live stream where I shared my predictions for AEW Double or Nothing, NXT Battleground, as well as Saturday night's main event. That was tonight's show. So go ahead and check back on that at that live stream to see where we rank in terms of our predictions. Do you think we will ever get a Ray Phoenix and Penta feud? Not against each other. I think we're going to get a tag team by the end of the year. I think they team up by the end of the year. I don't think they're going to feud. I think if they can have a match, they can have a match, but I don't think it's going to be an actual like rivalry. It might just be like a one and done type of brother versus brother type of a matchup, or maybe like it's in a tournament and the way the bracket is set up, they happen to match up against each other. But I don't think we get a full on story slash rivalry between the two. We would definitely be getting them as a tag team by the end of the year. And again, I go back to damn, this tag team division is ridiculous, man. What are your way too early predictions? No worries, we aren't recording. Is it Money in the Bank? Because I see, and then you say Money in the Bank. My early, way too early Money in the Bank predictions. So I initially said Finn Balor and Dominic were gonna win. I don't think so. I think it's gonna be LA Knight. I think the women's Money in the Bank. Call me crazy. I think Naomi. And if it's not Naomi, I'll go Roxanne Perez. That'll be Naomi's for number one. She has to qualify first, but Naomi number one, then Roxanne Perez. My predictions for the women's. For the men's, I'm gonna go LA Knight. I think it'll be LA Knight. I think John Cena and Logan Paul, they're announced to face off against Cody and Jey Uso. I'm thinking the baby faces win. Logan Paul eats the victory, eats the pin, I should say. But I'll even take it a step further. I think Naomi holds the briefcase and cashes in on Bianca. I think Bianca wins the championship later down the road, maybe by the end of the year. Bianca wins the championship and Naomi cashes in on her. And that sets up their feud. That's my call for that. As for LA Knight, so I think LA Knight wins the men's. So who would he cash in on? I think it'd have to be a heel. I don't think it'll be Jay. So who would beat Jay? It won't be John, because I think Cody's beating John. So it'd have to be a Raw guy. It'd have to be for the world title. Maybe Seth? I don't know. Maybe the next couple years, if they can have brother versus brother in WrestleMania like the Usos and Hardys, they could in a couple years. But I don't think it's going to be soon. Do you think we will ever get a Will Ospreay match that doesn't look like every other match, regardless of a top guy or a jobber? I think it would depend on who he's facing. I do see the criticism with Will Ospreay that a lot of it kind of blends in together. There are segments of the audience who are not fans of, for the lack of a better phrase, the flippy stuff in wrestling. It becomes more acrobatic, it seems choreographed, and it kind of takes away from the performance aspect. It is impressive in terms of the athleticism, but I do understand that it's not people's cup of tea, and that's fine. I prefer the more story-driven storylines or story-driven matches, but on occasion I will enjoy a Will Ospreay matchup. I think he is one of the best wrestlers right now, given that style. I think it depends on who he's facing. Maybe this Hangman matchup is what he needs. I think this has the potential to be a story-driven matchup. It is a tournament final to crown the next number one contender for the AEW World Championship. I also think it's a great parallel between Hangman Adam Page being the original AEW guy that was supposed to lead this company, and now Will Ospreay is apparently set up to be just that in this current era of AEW. I think Will Ospreay gets the victory. And to answer your question, Sir Robert, maybe his matchup against Moxley will be a little bit of a different style as well. Jimmy costing him the world championship with a chair with the man that cheated with his girl. Jay would be pissed. Hold on. Wait a minute. I gotta reread that. Jimmy cost him the world championship with a chair. With the man that cheated with his girl, Jay would be pissed. Like Matt. Are we talking about the Usos or? Because I know that's like the Hardys. I do get that because of the swing in the chair. I'm sorry, AJ. I missed it there. The fact that I'm not like on the same page with you right now, man, that tells me that this stream's been running long. I do want to get what you're saying. I want to pick up what you're putting down, buddy. The emoji by Zillow. That would have to happen if they wanted to catch the flame of the rivalry of what? Yeah, but okay. But there's one thing I don't think they should do is rehash a former storyline. What they had Matt and Jeff do was what Matt and Jeff did. What the Usos did is what the Usos did. I don't think you should rehash it. If you look to the past, you can look to the past as inspiration, but you shouldn't directly copy it because then it's just not original. Plus, the Usos had the matchup. I don't think they should fight again. They should be a tag team again. They don't have to be right now. I like the Jay and Jimmy singles run right now, but I don't think they should fight again. We had that matchup. It was what it was. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with what it was. WrestleMania is supposed to close storylines, and that is not happening. Yeah, I agree. I agree. We already had the USO rivalry. I think we're good. I think we're good. But I appreciate the theory. It opens up another conversation, like Drew versus Priest. Yeah, because we got the extra matchup, which because it was the first one-on-one matchup between them, so we were bound to have the rematch. The Drew and Damian one is perfect. Sir Robert, leaving, sir. Your top 5 movies of all time. Okay, of all time, it's a little bit biased because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I don't know if I could do it in the top 5 though. Okay, at number 5, I'm gonna go. Oh, this is tough. At number 5, I'm gonna go the original Toy Story. It was such a pivotal part of my childhood. It is a movie I always go back to for comfort. That's number 5. At number 4, I'm going to go. Oh God, I'm gonna go Back to the Future. Number 4, I'm gonna go Back to the Future. It's a great time travel movie, a great movie for the 80s. It's a family favorite. Number 4, Back to the Future. At number 3, my number 3 favorite movie of all time, I'm gonna go with. God, this is so I'm on the spot. It's crazy. At number 3, I'm going to go with The Dark Knight. That was Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, Christopher Nolan's the director. Number 3, The Dark Knight. At number 2, I'm going to go Endgame, just because that was such an experience as a Marvel fan and just seeing what they went through. Avengers Endgame number 2, and at number 1, my favorite movie of all time, it's got to be Spider-Man No Way Home. Big Spider-Man fan. To see all 3 of them on the screen together, that for me is it. What is your favorite Mario characters, Zillow? I'm boring. I'm gonna say Mario and Luigi. I'm boring when it comes to that. I do approve of Yoshi though. Quentin Tarantino's favorite movie is Toy Story 2. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, but it's a great movie, man. Honorable mention, I would throw Pulp Fiction and like Rocky, the original Rocky. Those would be like my honorable mentions. Scream is another one. Yeah. I like those kind of questions. I appreciate that. It really makes me think. The movie one caught me off guard because I have a list, but it's like it fluctuates. It you know it changes every now and then. So it's like that answer might be different tomorrow. Although I will say the top three are usually the same: Dark Knight, Endgame, and No Way Home. It's like four and five that tend to change. But Back to the Future, I think, is an almost perfect movie. Um, Toy Story is up there. If anything, number five is the one that switches the most. We're gonna go for another 5 minutes here. If you guys want to ask any questions or add any comments, make sure to leave them in the chat before we go. We'll finish at the top of the hour. Favorite chamber victor? Ooh, okay. It's close between two. Either the original Shawn Michaels when he won, or 2009 when Edge won. Zillow says mine would be Bray Wyatt. Solid. That also happened in Phoenix, Arizona. So shout out to Bray Wyatt. Got a victory in the home state. But I would have to say it's close between Shawn and Edge. Those are my favorite Elimination Chamber victories. You guys have been great. This has been again another lively, active live stream, especially following a Saturday night's main event. Traditionally, we do have our lives on Thursdays and Sundays. I've been kind of messing with the live stream schedule for two reasons. One, to accommodate my work schedule, as well as seeing what is working for you guys. And in the past, I find that Saturdays have been a good day. Sundays work because it's the end of the week or the beginning of the week, depending on what side of the spectrum you fall on. But we're probably going to be more fluid and fluctuate the live streams. Of course, as I always say, broken record. Check the community posts. Make sure you guys have your notification bells on. That way you can stay up to date with all the content that we talk about here on YouTube. WWE firing Braun Strowman is heartbreaking, even after the passing of two of his wife family members. Unfortunately, it's the business. You know what I mean? Maybe they felt that his contract was worth too much money given what they were getting in return. Braun Strowman's body is betraying him. He's a little bit up there in age, as well as his knees have been, deteriorating over the last couple of years. I'm a fan of Braun Strowman. I thought they definitely had something with him. I will say, though, Zillow, he'll be back. I have all the confidence in the world. Braun Strowman will be back in the WWE. I think within the next 2 years. Book it. Before WrestleMania 43, he'll be back. Because I just feel like he's a lifer. Like, I think he enjoys WWE so much that he'll come back. And I think it's just a pairing that makes sense. Here's another guy who, in terms of PR and doing the work and doing the interviews, he's a guy you can send out to the public. John Cena not being able to AA Braun was heartbreaking. Talk about a heartbreak. Rusev versus Penta at SummerSlam. Book it. I'm into it. Unfortunately, I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm into it. Rusev versus Penta, sign me up. SummerSlam should be a big show, though. We have 2 nights of SummerSlam. Speaking of 2 nights, real quick before we close up, what are you guys' thoughts on WrestleMania and how it was scheduled to be in New Orleans and now they pulled the plug and there's rumors saying it's going to be back in Vegas? For the first time since WrestleMania 4 and 5, we could potentially be going back-to-back venues for WrestleMania. Las Vegas does WrestleMania 41 and potentially WrestleMania 42. New Orleans gets Money in the Bank next year, and it'll be like late August, I believe, is when that's going to happen. So the scheduling of the WWE right now has been changing. So Robert says, I'm from Louisiana. They're going to get Money in the Bank. You're not going to get WrestleMania just yet, but Money in the Bank is around the corner. We don't want Rusev versus that little dude in the Alpha Academy. Oh, yeah. A Tozawa? I love Akira Tozawa. I wish they would present him better, but he's going to get squashed. washed. He's gonna get demolished. I mean, like, damn. If that match lasts longer than 3 minutes, I'll be surprised. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it's a good match. I always say that, but it's like realistically, they're not gonna do anything with it. I think it's so WWE 2K can finally have a WrestleMania arena for the release that's not outdated. Nah, but they add that as a DLC. Like the updated WrestleMania arena, I think is gonna be up by the summer. But I don't know. I'm not a fan. But again, as I always say, it is what it is. All right, guys, we're gonna call it here. I appreciate every one of you that appeared for the live and decided to join and help discuss Saturday night's main event, as well as hype up Battleground and Double or Nothing. As always, it's been a great time seeing you guys. Everyone that gets fired from WWE will go TNA, then to NXT. So, Robert, I think you're onto something. That partnership opens the door for the return as well. If you guys enjoyed this live, make sure you give it a like, comment down below in the chat or in the comment section what you thought of Saturday night's main event. What was your favorite matchup? What storyline are you looking forward to next leading into Money in the Bank? Who were some of your predictions for the Money in the Bank winners this year? And if you haven't already, which if you haven't by now, what are you doing? Make sure you subscribe to the channel to join in more on these live streams as well as the videos that we upload 1 to 2 a time a week. But I appreciate you guys nonetheless. Everyone have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you all in our next live. Until then, everyone, stay safe, stay cool,